Have you ever dated someone who acts like a total child? I'm not talking about being playful and fun. I mean, a full-blown man-child. Well, I have. His name is Leo, and for the first few months, I thought his boyish charm was cute. It wasn't until we moved in together that I realized I wasn't his girlfriend. I was his new mom. It started with small things. He'd leave his clothes on the floor, right next to the hamper. When I'd ask him to pick them up, he'd pout and say, "But I'm tired, babe." "You do it so much better." I sigh and do it, telling myself it wasn't a big deal. Then came the dishes. He'd finish eating, leave his plate on the coffee table, and go straight to his video games. The sink would pile up until I couldn't stand it anymore. One evening, I came home exhausted from a long day at work. The apartment was a disaster. Pizza boxes, empty chip bags, and his socks were everywhere. Leo was on the couch, headphones on, yelling at his friends through his gaming headset. I asked, "Leo, could you please help me clean up a little?" He waved a hand at me without even looking. "In a minute, babe. I'm in the middle of a raid." A minute turned into an hour, then 2. I cleaned the entire apartment by myself while he played. When he finally took his headphones off, he smiled at me and said, "Wow, the place looks great. You're the best." He didn't even notice I was fuming. I felt invisible, like a maid he happened to be dating. The financial stuff was even worse. We agreed to split bills 50-50. But every month, Leo was a little short. He'd spend his money on new games, collectible figures, and expensive sneakers. When the rent was due, he'd give me those puppy dog eyes and say, "Can you cover me this time? I'll pay you back, I promise." Of course, he never did. My savings account started to shrink, and my stress levels went through the roof. I tried talking to him. I sat him down and explained how I felt overwhelmed and taken for granted. He seemed to listen, nodding and saying all the right things. "You're right, babe. I've been a jerk. I'll change, I promise. I'll be more responsible." I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe he finally understood. The next day, he made me breakfast. It was just burnt toast and watery coffee, but it was a start. He even did a load of laundry. The problem was, he mixed my white silk blouse with his red hoodies. Everything came out a streaky, blotchy pink. I wanted to scream, but he looked so proud of himself. "See? I'm helping," he said with a huge grin. I forced a smile and spent the rest of the evening trying to salvage my ruined clothes. His help never lasted more than a day or 2. Soon, he was back to his old ways, leaving messes and making empty promises. My friends started to notice the change in me. I was always tired and irritable. My best friend, Chloe, pulled me aside one day. "Hey, are you okay? You seem really stressed. Is it Leo?" I broke down and told her everything. The mess, the money, the feeling of being his mother instead of his partner. Chloe listened patiently. When I was done, she said, "Honey, you know this isn't normal, right? A relationship is a partnership. It's not your job to raise a grown man." Her words hit me hard. I had been making excuses for him for so long, telling myself that he would grow up eventually. But what if he never did? Was I willing to spend the rest of my life cleaning up after someone who didn't respect me? The final straw came on my birthday. I had been dropping hints for weeks about a nice dinner at that new Italian restaurant downtown. I reminded him that morning, "Don't forget my birthday dinner tonight. 8 o'clock. He kissed my cheek and said, "I wouldn't miss it for the world." I spent hours getting ready. I did my hair, my makeup, and wore my favorite dress. I felt beautiful and excited. 8 o'clock came and went. No Leo. I called his phone. It went straight to voicemail. I texted him, no reply. By 9, I was sick with worry and disappointment. Just as I was about to start crying, the door burst open. In stumbled Leo, laughing with his friend Mark. They were both carrying huge bags from a comic book store. Leo saw me and his face fell. "Oh, crap." "Your birthday." I just stared at him, my heart sinking into my stomach. "You forgot," I whispered. He rushed over, his words slurring a little. No, I didn't forget. Mark and I just went to pick up this limited edition figure that was released today. It was a madhouse. We had to wait in line for hours. I was going to be back in time, I swear. He held up a plastic action figure like it was a peace offering. Look, it's the super rare edition. Isn't it cool? That was it. I couldn't do it anymore. All the frustration and hurt I had been bottling up just exploded. Cool? Leo, are you serious? I've been sitting here for over an hour, all dressed up, waiting for you on my birthday. And you were in a line for a toy? A toy. He had the audacity to look defensive. It's not a toy, it's a collectible. And I said I was sorry. Sorry doesn't fix it, Leo. I yelled, tears streaming down my face. Sorry doesn't pay the bills you ignore. Sorry doesn't clean the messes you leave. Sorry doesn't make up for the fact that I feel like your servant, not your girlfriend. The fight was ugly. He called me a nag. I called him an irresponsible child. By the end of it, I was emotionally drained. I looked at this man I thought I loved and saw a stranger. A selfish boy who would never grow up. I'm done, I said, my voice barely a whisper. I can't do this anymore. You need to pack your things and leave. His jaw dropped. He probably thought I'd just get mad and then forgive him, like always. You don't mean that, he said. Oh, I do, I replied, my voice gaining strength. I want you out. Now. He tried to argue, to apologize again, to promise he would change for real this time, but I was deaf to it. I had heard it all before. I helped him pack his bags, mostly his video games and collectibles, and watched as he walked out the door. The silence in the apartment was deafening, but it was also peaceful. The next few weeks were hard. I missed the good times, the person I thought he was at the beginning. But every time I started to feel sad, I would remember the feeling of scrubbing his dishes while he played games, or the sting of being forgotten on my birthday. Slowly but surely, I got my life back. My apartment stayed clean. My bank account started to recover. I had more time and energy for my friends, my hobbies, and myself. Chloe was my rock, constantly reminding me I'd made the right decision. About 2 months later, I ran into Leo at a coffee shop. He looked the same. He told me he was living back with his parents. My mom does my laundry, so that's cool, he said with a shrug. I just smiled politely and wished him well. As I walked away, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. I had dodged a massive bullet. Dating a man-child isn't a romantic challenge to overcome. It's a one-way ticket to burnout. You can't change someone who doesn't want to change. The most important lesson I learned is that you have to love yourself enough to walk away from someone who treats you like an option, or worse, like their mom. A true partner walks beside you, not behind you waiting for you to clean up their mess. I'm happy on my own now, and I know that when I do find someone, it'll be an actual adult. Someone who knows how to use a washing machine and remembers my birthday. And let me tell you, that's not too much to ask. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever been in a similar situation, know that you're not alone and you deserve better. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.